Hi, welcome to Bookie. Today we will unlock the book The Age of Empathy, Nature's Lessons for a Kinder Society. First, consider these two questions. Are people selfish by nature? Does the progress of human society depend on competition or reciprocity? Perhaps some will answer that people are selfish by nature, and human social progress depends on competition. According to economists, our function in the world is to consume and produce. And according to biologists, the top priority for humans is to survive and reproduce. Behind both views seems to lie a central logic of necessary competition. Some case studies and observation of social phenomena seem to confirm this assertion. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina struck the state of Louisiana. While the American people were paying close attention to disaster relief measures, on the news, a guest speaker argued that the misery of others is none of our business. The commentator made their remarks after the entire nation had watched people losing their homes, being crammed into hotel rooms, families having to relocate hundreds of miles away, staying with their grandparents or displaced parents having to stay in their children's homes, people struggling to care for their domestic pets. Those without the means to evacuate were left behind. They had to shelter in the Louisiana Superdome with nothing to eat. These tragic scenes didn't evoke any sympathy in this guest's heart. With media images of the old, isolated, and poor marooned in the city with no resources, think about it. Isn't the guest's insensitivity strong enough evidence to suggest that people lack compassion and do not care about the fate of their fellow humans? Although the American public didn't pay much attention to the hurricane victims in the immediate aftermath, people gradually began to feel the aftershock of the calamity. As social anxiety deepened, large quantities of relief supplies poured into the disaster area. This provision of aid vindicates Frans de Waal's belief that humans are not by nature purely selfish. One of the key points this book is trying to make is that we all have the capacity for cooperation, sharing, and caring for the weak. De Waal indicates that this capacity is a force that bonds humans together and drives people's harmonious reciprocity. It exists at the core of human nature. Frans de Waal is a renowned Dutch psychologist, zoologist, and ecologist. He is the Charles Howard Candler Professor of Primate Behavior at Emory University, and he is undoubtedly one of the world's best-known primatologists. In 1993, he became a member of the Royal Netherlands Academy of Arts and Sciences. Subsequently, he was selected to be a member of the American National Academy of Sciences and the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. In 2007, Time magazine named him among the world's 100 most influential people. He has published many books throughout his distinguished career. One of his most famous works, Chimpanzee Politics, is also available on our app. In this bookie, we will explain the key themes of The Age of Empathy in 3 parts. Part 1, Are humans selfish by nature? Part 2, Biological mechanisms of empathy and sympathy. Part 3, Possible social ramifications of empathy. Let's look at the first question, are people selfish by nature? De Waal indicates that many people hold firmly to the belief in every man for himself. People feel that competition is good for you. These opinions indicate a fundamental misunderstanding of the logical nature of biological evolution and the universal character of all living things. For example, they believe that nature is governed by principles of dominance, that only the strong survive. Individual greed for power and resources is the essence of evolution and the driver of progress. De Waal applies the insights of a zoologist to refute these viewpoints one by one. De Waal provides a case study based on chimpanzees' behavior. At a field station, researchers would sometimes give the chimps food that could be shared, such as a large watermelon. The apes were all hungry for the watermelon, but if one chimp was the first to grab the food for themselves, the other chimps would respect the first chimp's ownership and wouldn't fight for a share. Instead, they asked for